My name is Catherine Miller. I'm 39 years old, and I learned the hard way that family loyalty doesn't always survive a courtroom. I was seated at the defendant's table, my navy blazer buttoned neatly, my hair pulled back in the same professional style I'd worn for years. Across from me, my ex-husband Daniel leaned back smugly beside his polished attorney. But what cut deepest wasn't him, it was the woman testifying against me, my own mother. "Your Honor," she said clearly, her voice echoing through the chamber, "my daughter has always been unstable. She can't keep a steady job. She's been in therapy more times than I can count. And frankly, I don't think she should have custody of my grandson at all." The words stung more than I expected, though I should have known this was coming. Daniel's lawyer nodded, as though each sentence was a gift. I tried to stay still, hands folded before me, but the pale ring of skin on my finger where my wedding band used to sit seemed to glow under the courtroom lights, reminding me of everything I had lost. In the front row, my 8-year-old son, Ethan, sat beside my sister, wide-eyed and confused. He looked from his grandmother to me as if searching for the truth between us. My sister avoided my gaze completely. That silence said as much as my mother's accusations, and in that moment, I understood. This wasn't just Daniel's fight. My own family had joined his side. Judge Elaine Porter sat at the bench, her expression unreadable. I had worked alongside her for years, yet she offered no hint of recognition. That was the rule. We never brought personal ties into court. My mother kept going, her voice growing stronger. "Catherine disappears for days at a time, claims she's working, but no one knows what she really does. For all I know, she's mixed up in something dangerous. My grandson deserves stability. He deserves his father's home, not her tiny apartment." The courtroom buzzed with murmurs. Daniel's family filled one side of the gallery, nodding with self-righteous satisfaction. On my side, only a few friends, people who knew what I really did for a living, people who trusted me. Daniel's attorney stood confidently. "Your Honor, the testimony demonstrates a clear lack of stability in Miss Miller's life. The child would be better served in my client's custody." I felt the eyes of the court pressing down on me, waiting for me to crumble. But I had spent 15 years watching witnesses falter, attorneys grandstand, and judges weigh truth against theatrics. Timing mattered more than emotion. So when Judge Porter finally turned to me and asked, "Miss Miller, how do you respond to these allegations about your employment and your ability to provide for your son?" I rose slowly, my movements deliberate. "Your Honor," I said calmly, "I'd like to call a witness who can address those questions." The hush that fell over the room was almost tangible. The doors at the back of the courtroom opened, and in walked Chief Justice Robert Langford, his presence commanding instant respect. A ripple of surprise spread through the gallery. My mother's face drained of color. "Justice Langford," I began, my voice steady, "could you identify me for the court?" He looked directly at me. "You are Justice Catherine Miller, Associate Justice of the State Supreme Court. You've served with distinction for the past 8 years. The silence was absolute. Daniel's lawyer fumbled with his papers. Ethan leaned forward, astonished, as though finally understanding why his mother often worked late into the night. "Chief Justice," I continued, "could you describe my responsibilities?" "Justice Miller presides over the state's most complex cases," he replied. "She chairs the Ethics Committee, sits on the appellate panel for capital cases, and has written landmark opinions in family law." I turned back to the bench. "Your Honor, I chose not to tell my family about my position. I wanted my son to have a normal childhood, free from the scrutiny and pressure of being a judge's child. That's why I've lived modestly, why I kept my professional life separate." Judge Porter's eyes softened slightly. Daniel looked stunned, as if realizing for the first time who he had been married to. I concluded firmly, "I've spent my career protecting children. To suggest I'm unfit to protect my own is not only false, it's offensive. I request full custody of Ethan." Judge Porter delivered her ruling. "Custody granted to Justice Miller." Ethan ran into my arms. "Mom," he whispered, "I think it's amazing." and for the first time in months, I felt whole again.